What is up, everybody? This is the Fresh Baked Goods, and thank you for clicking on another Hell Let Loose video. We are doing something a little bit different today. We're doing a roundtable discussion with myself and all the guys about Update 11 and tanking in Hell Let Loose. I've usually done these videos by myself in the past, but I feel like it'd be more beneficial if you heard the opinions of many others, and the discussion is always healthy. So let's quickly go around and introduce everyone. Tack, I got you up first.
Yep, everybody. I would say probably out of this group, I'm probably one of the newest in regards to levels and hours and things like that. Started off just throwing myself in the mix of lots of different types of people, joining MPA and all these different servers, and then ended up finding you guys, which really got me into tanking, and because I was primarily infantry for a very long time. Other than that, I would just say I'm probably the newbie of the group and have my opinions here and there of certain things. So we'll jump in when we go.
Cool. And then I got Marco.
Hey everyone. I guess I'm your resident gunner slash driver.
No.
Yeah.
Everyone knows most of you guys already, I feel like.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'm just, I have strong opinions about the game. I love the game. It's a huge part of the fun I have in the evenings with everyone. So yeah, I wanted to, be part of this and have a chat over the game.
And then we got Jack.
Jack Burton on the French servers, known as Jacques Breton. I got probably 900 hours, maybe 1,000 hours. 700 of that, probably at least, is tanking. I love tanking, and I love Hell Let Loose tanking even more. So
there we go. And then we got our local Scotsman, Captain Adam.
Howdy everyone, it's Adam here. I came in after meeting Jack randomly in one of the servers, which was always nice. And so I've been tanking with these guys for quite a while after that, doing some spotter, some recon as well. And I just really like doing all of this. And yeah, it's good to get some opinions out as well.
Cool. And then we also have Scab and BK sitting in on here. Well, let's get right into it. Update 11 tanking is in a situation. It's obviously fun. We play it all the time, clearly with all the videos. But we have gathered here today to discuss all of its flaws and issues. So basically, the main thing that's wrong with Hell Let Loose tanking right now is it's stuck in this weird sort of Update 11 meta. Going out of Update 10, it was all about the heavy spam. You know, everyone was driving heavies. It's what you did. Update 11, heavies are now a little bit rare. Fuel has been increased. The cooldown on the 76 has been increased. Now that's level. Despite the unbalancing between the 76 and the Tiger and all that business, heavies are now just a little bit more rare. But where the problem lies is that is the only thing that was changed with tanking, and the fact that heavies are still the meta and go-to. And with this being said, I mean, how would you guys best describe it? There's almost sort of a fuel loop to where now teams get stuck in these loops of you have to save up for a heavy because the only thing that can counter a heavy is another heavy. A medium can't destroy a heavy from the front. The only thing that's possible to destroy a heavy from front is another heavy or an AT gun. And AT guns are a whole nother issue that we can talk about later. But the rock, paper, scissors meta of Hell Let Loose is almost intensified with this lack of heavies. Because now once a team does have a heavy, you can't counter it unless you either wait or you kind of have to almost have less armor crews on your team for a fuel buildup.
totally. In my mind, that's you nailed it. I mean, the first competent group that can roll a heavy, you basically just destroy their fuel economy right out of the gate.
Yeah,
you get advantageous position, and you just smoke them straight for like an hour, however long it lasts.
And
so
the thing that's kind of concerning about it is because if you're rolling in a heavy and the other team, really their only choice is they wait for a heavy or they roll out the mediums. And because if you're a dedicated crew and you're thinking, well, we're just going to wait for the heavy, well, then you have other crews or crews that just came into the game. Well, they're picking out the medium, so that's just draining the fuel. So you're just, you take one step forward and two steps back because you either sit around and become bored and wait for a heavy, or you take the mediums and then your kind of like ability to enjoy the game is like pretty significantly hindered because you're waiting for that tank and you're sitting around, and then eventually you might get worn down and just say, hey, screw it, we'll take another medium out, and then you get eaten, and it that's kind of like the case. And I mean, all of us have noticed, I mean, especially me, how little we see the heavies and how often we see the mediums, because most oftentimes we're the ones doing the demolishing, and the other teams can't get out a heavy, and they're just fielding mediums, and so they just get one tapped, and it's just at this point, and I'll let others speak, but it's not becoming increasingly fun to basically just fight against mediums and a heavy this entire time. It's
kind of like U10 again, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of like, I don't know. It's almost worse than U10 in a way in a lot of some of these games because, if an experienced crew or say team has 1 to 2 experienced crews, that's all you need. You get those guys in heavies. They're going to melt the enemy tanks. And it's almost
very tough to take them down.
Yeah, and it's almost a hindrance if you add 1 or 2 additional crews to those and they start asking for tanks and take the fuel away from them, and then everyone's rocking mediums. Which is super weird. This is like a weird meta that's kind of come out of this, and these heavy tanks just absolutely decimate the enemy teams on the mediums, and it just creates a stale gameplay of you either wait in HQ and pray that the other teams currently in tanks aren't getting wiped. No one needs a supply truck. No one needs a half track, and you're just kind of clutching your butt cheeks, just hoping fuel can get up there, and it's super weird right now.
And it just causes a conflict a lot of time.
Yeah.
On your team even, and you don't want that because once that started happening, everybody jumps on the negative vibe and starts trashing. It just comes from a lack of effort, I think, a lot of times too. Like we've all done this. We go in and as an actual infantry team, get your nodes down, and by the time you hop back in, sometimes someone's already lined up for a heavy and takes your heavy, and it's not your heavy per se, but I mean, you took the effort, you got the nodes down, you're a 3-man. And then all of a sudden a 2-man that didn't do really anything jumps in the heavy.
Yeah, and it's very easy to get in that loop, but they're going to drive it out, get wrecked in 5 minutes, and it takes several minutes to get the fuel back up to that heavy. And then that's where you get in this loop of, you have all these crews just waiting around for tanks. A few minutes, fuel goes up, it gets wiped because, they have to wait the 5 minutes for the heavy, or you just send out mediums and feed the enemy heavies.
That's if they're not spawning supply trucks, half tracks,
and things that are outside of your control. I mean, you being a crewman, waiting for that, and you have no voice in any of that, and you're just, it's like, well, this isn't fun.
Yeah, and you're fully dependent on the commander at that point.
It makes it all that more important just to make sure you keep that medium and those initial tanks alive for those opening rounds, just so you can even get that fuel build up.
Yeah, absolutely. That's just like a pro move right now that people haven't figured out. Like that medium that you roll out with at the start of the game is so crucial now because it's just like that's, granted it's an auto spawn, but that's technically, either 200 fuel, 100 fuel, 600 fuel, however you look at whatever that team would be driving if it wasn't an auto spawn.
Free money.
Yeah, free money. You keep that thing alive. Your team's flying. One crew takes the medium out, survives for 6 minutes. The second come rolling up in a heavy as long as no one else needs to burn the fuel for it.
Yeah.
But
and that's often the case with media, with duos and solos. They're going to run through these tanks a little bit more, and that just puts large crews at a disadvantage right there because then they're going to ask for the same tanks over again, and it kind of like you're almost when you're a large crew. And you're doing quite well. You're almost like basically kind of like put in a jail cell for doing quite well because the worst performing teams, and I know it's a game, but the worst performing teams are the smaller crews
absolutely. That's like going back to what Tack was saying before about the nodes. Like, say you go build your nodes, and then someone sneaks the heavy from you, then you get in a medium. You're keeping that medium alive, but you're only doing like half the damage because you could be doing more in a heavy. And meanwhile, you'll have other crews just burning through those heavies, so you can't even request one because there's not enough fuel ever.
Yep,
it's just bad to see. But yeah, I think what it comes down to is honestly, it's really defining the meta that was built with U10, with the heavies and everything, the rock, paper, scissors, the brutality of it. And now it's just really shining because there's, nowhere really to hide. You can't just roll out another heavy to combat these heavies. And
I get why they did it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They were trying to make the heavies super scary. And I mean, there was several mentions in various sources saying they wanted them to be intimidating. And I think the direct quote was a commander sending a message about fielding a heavy.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
They're not rare enough.
No, because all you have to do is wait. You just wait, and then you get one. Like it's not like it's impossible to get one. If you have 1 to 2 crews that are patient enough to wait 5 to 10 minutes, you're gonna get 2 heavies out the door.
And then if you get a really good crew in that heavy stays alive.
Yeah, and then you just build fuel and fuel and fuel. So you get punished for you get punished for not really knowing what you're doing or being bad at this game, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. It's just very, very unforgiving. If a team has, 2 to 3 crews that don't know what they're doing, they're going to punish the whole team, basically. All the tankers, all the infantrymen that want half tracks, that want supply trucks. The whole team gets punished if these crewmen don't know what they're doing, or if they're simply just not as good as the other team, which I think is very brutal. I mean, we're on the giving end of this, and I'm saying this.
Yeah. I mean, how often?
They've all got to start somewhere. So
yeah, for sure.
And to be fair,
it's like just that little bit of looking up beforehand, just to like, what should I be doing?
We should clarify
out there.
Yeah, we're not bagging on.
We're not against.
We
want more people.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, I just much rather. I almost
output of the mechanic.
Yeah, I almost miss like the update 10. Like at least the update 10, it's like you knew almost every other tank could fuck your life up. Like I kind of miss that competitiveness of it, but now it's like update 11, you can kind of see these games going in a direction sometimes like they're fucked, like they're just rolling mediums out every 4 minutes.
That's nobody wants new player wants to go, oh look, I get to drive in a Tiger or a Panzer IV, and then they get taken out, and then it's like, all right, well I guess we'll get another one. They get taken out.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not having fun with this. Isn't really fun. Like I think there's more fun if you have a new player that comes in and goes, learns or they know this before they're getting in a tank. Hey, I'm in this medium. Obviously, a Tiger is better, but if I can hit in this weak spot, or I can do this, or I can do that, like I have a way to count as at least from the front.
Yeah.
I mean, we want the game needs to be more. I want there to be a level of punishment because it is tanking, and because tanking by nature is punishing. But you need to not completely discourage people from attempting to tank, and you want to make them feel supported and not constantly go out there and shoot us, and we shoot them, and you basically take them out with one shot, and then it just is a cycle, because then it makes them feel bad, and it makes the team look bad because they don't have fuel, and then it's like a snowball.
Yeah. So
that's well said.
That's actually a really good segue. So basically the bottom line is the rock, paper, scissors meta is still very much in effect. The heavy's still what you need to be in, almost what you have to be in one if your other team is heavies. And, mediums cannot do any damage to the front. That's just the way it is, the way it goes. And now it's even more punishing. We've all talked about this on the side. We've all thought about it. So we have a few points here we can run through, and let's just talk about them. Maybe some pros, some cons, what we just think about them. Right off the bat, I guess the most easy, I don't want to say lazy, but the most easy and simplest solution from this is obviously just to allow mediums to penetrate heavy tanks from the front. Maybe it just takes obviously it would have to take a couple shots more, or maybe through some weak points, stuff like that. I think the way to go with this, obviously, my opinion is weak points, going back to the before 4 times, back when you could destroy, a 76 by shooting it in the bags, shooting a Panther in the cupola. It was really dumb when you think about it, but I think everyone really enjoyed the idea of weak spots. If you apply that idea to actually, strategical spots on the front of a tank, I think that is the way to go. I think it'll be more competitive. It takes some skill. It'll be a little harder, but it gives you a fighting chance, and you're not just throwing your hands up and they're saying, no, we're fucking dead. Like, let's go back to HQ and get a heavy. It actually makes you want to drive the Panzer IV. Maybe you can get around faster, turn quicker, because you'll have a fighting chance to get heavy when it turns around the corner. But in my opinion, I think this is the way to go.
I absolutely agree with you.
I think it makes it a lot more intuitive as well.
Yeah,
So back to you were saying, it's like, oh, there's a driver window to shoot at. It's like, it's intuitive that maybe that's a weak point. Turret ring, intuitive that that's maybe a weak point.
Yeah,
something like that.
And this is more based on realism than another path you could go. I mean, this is, if you think about what's based in realism, I know this is like the age old, everyone knows this, but just for people that don't know, I mean, the Tiger that was captured in North Africa had a 6-pounder shot at it, I believe, and it bounced off the barrel into the turret ring, and the crew evacuated because it broke through the whole roof, injured probably the radio men. And like shots like this are they happened. It wasn't impossible to take out a tank with a smaller caliber weapon. You just had to know where to hit it or know how to immobilize it. I mean, crews were given information. Russians were given like pamphlets about how to take out tanks. What areas to shoot them and whatnot. Like because a lot of their armaments were severely underpowered versus the German Tiger tank. But like, this is the most realistic in my eyes way to take it forward. Weak points, whatever ways versus kind of like keep upping the fuel or doing any other changes that really don't like benefit the players who are wanting to tank.
Absolutely. I fully agree. I mean, I remember like U7, U8, whatever it was, way back with the stupid trick shots and like hitting a 76 in the bags and one-shotting it and how stupid it was. But at the same time, like you said, it was a skill shot.
I mean, it was a rush
You know?
just charging a Panther at a
Yeah.
fucking 76. Like, get around the side of it, take out the bags. It was fucking fun.
Yeah. There's a risk and reward, like you're going to pull out around a hedge and see this thing. Are you going to hit the bag in time or not? And
Yeah.
you have the skill to pull it off in the heat of the moment. And that's fun gameplay.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a good point. I mean, I've previously said in like a lot of opinion videos, I hate the gameplay of just not even having a chance. I don't like that at all. Like the fact that, sure, if you're going to make a medium take one shot to get blown up heavy, at least give it a fighting chance. Or if you want to die on the hill of a heavy cannot be penetrated by the front by a medium, then at least let it take more than one shot so the medium has a chance to get away. Because right now it's just not even a competition. There's no point like to even squaring off like that. And I think that's really shallow gameplay and almost maybe lazy in a sense, but it's just there's so much potential there that could make for fun.
Yeah, and that's. Go ahead.
Go ahead,
Sorry.
Jack.
I was just gonna say that's good.
Go.
I mean, it's a good point. Like, they're clearly trying to advance this mechanic and this tiered system of these, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like a T-34 versus a Tiger. Of course, the T-34 is going to be at disadvantage. Correct me if I'm wrong, Marco, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think they're moving in the right direction. I think they've done great stuff, but they just need to adjust that. And I don't think the way to adjust it is to make it cost more fuel and exacerbate, the existing issues. I think it really is just giving, like you said, you have to give the medium some kind of chance to stick them and like take them out.
Yeah.
Well, plus, if you just keep raising costs on things, you're just taking away from other things too. You're not going to get the half track. You're not going to get these other like trucks. I mean, it's just going to be a drain and a suck, and it's going to cause conflict amongst everybody. They'll be yelling at each other because they can't afford to get a half track or they can't afford to get this or that. It's just going to cause issues.
Oh, for sure.
And then you'll never be able to get it.
All right, before I move on to the next point, I want to make sure Adam, do you have anything to add to weak spots? Are you good?
Oh, no, I was good with that.
Okay, so that Tack, you bring up a very good point. That is literally the next point on my list. Another potential solution to this, solution in quotes, is higher fuel cost and cooldown. And I absolutely agree with everything you said. In fact, I honestly think it would take all the problems we're currently talking about with this meta, and it would make it so much worse. Because that's kind of the problem in general here. Here's one team has enough fuel to field a heavy, and the other one doesn't. So I mean, if you increase that even more, it's just going to get worse and worse. And then the team with the 1 and 2 experienced crews on it fielding the heavies will absolutely wipe the floor with the other team's crews.
Yep.
You'll
see 10 times those steamrolls.
If you want to make tanking fun and you want to make mediums fun, don't force people into it. Make a medium, make people want to drive a medium, make people want that speed, that mobility, that maneuverability. Don't make it, oh, we have to because we don't have the fuel for a heavy. Like, that's not the way, to make people want to play a medium. You want to play it because you want to go up against a Tiger and knock it out because you have the weak spot or whatever. You want to have that because of all the reasons I said. Like, it's not upping the fuel does nothing but just demoralizes people from being able to play the game in a fun way because they don't have any fuel.
Absolutely, I agree. And it kind of goes back to like right now, I'll just throw this in there. I don't want to get too off topic, but I completely love what they did with recon vehicles. You could still kill tanks with recon vehicles, and I still think that's kind of the thrill you're talking about, Marco, is you have these tanks or vehicles that are just, should not be doing what they're doing, and you take out a tank with it. It's a fucking thrill. And it's possible to do it. Yeah, exactly.
That was a clencher, dude, yesterday.
Yeah,
it was scary.
it's totally possible to do it, and it's just hard, and it is so satisfying when you do it. And it's like if they can translate that feeling into mediums against heavies, I feel like there's potential there that it just needs to be worked in.
I mean, same thing if you're going for higher fuel costs. think of that poor team that doesn't have anybody building their nodes either.
Yeah.
It's really gonna suck.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's just brutal. It'll just be so brutal on a team that doesn't have their shit together, and they'll just create more and more steam rules. Which, I mean, I guess you're going to be punished if you don't build your nodes, but if you have a team with one or two crews that doesn't know what they're doing, they'll ruin the experience for all the other crews just because they're burning through fuel, and ruin the overall experience for the team when they can't feel the heavy when they need to.
Yeah, and the commanders are going to have to be even 10 times more on their game, because if they're not encouraging, or again, they're going to have to adjust all that too, in my opinion. If you up cost of stuff, you're going to have to lower cooldown rates and things like on encouraged, or the conversion rates on fuel to munitions and whatnot. If you can't just change that one minor thing and think it's going to fix it, it's going to affect so many different angles.
I think that's a good point, because we're seeing that right now with the half tracks and everything. It's just, once you start messing with the resource meta, it's like, oh fuck, you just open up a whole nother can of worms, and it just creates so many new problems. I feel like the problem we're talking about with tanking can be solved within the tanks itself, and you don't even have to touch the cooldowns of the actual resources. It just seems like another kind of quick fix and unnecessary route to go down. Cool. Anybody else got anything to add to the fuel cost cooldown solution? All right. So next possible solution on my list is, what if they introduced a system to, let's say your tank is damaged, and you know how right now you can just rep your tank. You drive away, you rep your tank, you fill it, you can fill it all the way back at full health, and you're good to go. What if there was kind of like a system where you couldn't rep it up to full health? Let's say you take a shell, you can only rep it up to like 80 or 90%, and so on. If you get damaged again, you can only rep it up to like 60%. And that way, tanks don't go on for as long lives, because you know how it is now. We get in a heavy and we're in it for the whole fucking game almost, just because no one can touch us. So this might be a way to kind of incorporate that, some sort of armored, it degrades over time after you take a beating. And, obviously my biggest concern about this thought in the back of my head as I'm saying it out loud is AT. I like this in thought process when it comes to tanks on tanks, but AT scares the shit out of me with this kind of system in place. I'm kind of wanting to get your guys' opinion on this.
Exact same. I mean, it's the AT guys. I mean, you'd never get anywhere with it. What was it yesterday? How many times have I said it in the last 2 days? I think I've said it 4 times. We took 6 AT rockets from 3 separate AT guys, and shot down 2 guys charging us with satchels all at the same time. I mean, those rockets thankfully hit us all in the tracks and stuff, but we transferred over to hull damage. But
yeah, I guess
you'd never be able to even get a semi-decent game going if you're just totally messed up from AT rockets before you even get to any kind of advantageous position where you're actually going to fight another tank. You're just going to be beat to shit.
And also, too, where's the degradation going to be? Are we going to be on 3 tiers? Is there going to be track degradation, hull degradation, and engine? Or are we talking about just a overall percentage? Because, like, again, if someone tracks you like 5 times and you repair, and then one taps your ass in the engine, let's
say for hypothetical senses, it's just hull damage. I mean, obviously, who knows what you can mess around with this. I feel like that's probably the most less punishing if it's sort of be implemented, if it was just hull. But obviously, it's still very, very brutal. It's like in my head, I'm thinking about all the times you kill an AT guy with rockets and he just goes and redeploys 10 seconds later with a fresh set. It's like, holy fuck, you have no chance of getting away. So it doesn't matter where he hits you. He just has to keep bringing it down until eventually there's no chance of getting away.
And how does that work with engine?
Exactly.
So you take one of those nasty AT gun shots, and then you're back up to whatever health you have, but now you're just a consistent one-shot engine out scenario. Like,
yeah,
you're done. You're never going to get anything done doing that.
It just sounds so messy. Like I said, I like the idea of, tank on tank degradation, but against AT, it's just like, dude, that just sounds,
overkill.
it's so overpowered. Like, that would just ruin it. Like, could you just imagine, like, rolling around a tank in this game and you're just constantly fucked up? Because that's how it is right now. It's like, you don't ever have, I think I've had maybe 2 perfect games where I didn't take damage. You're gonna take damage, and it's just that'd be so fucking brutal and overpowered with those AT rockets. It wouldn't matter, It wouldn't. Why would they even try and aim their shots? Just send it at them and fucking get to create the armor.
Yeah, and then 10 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever. Even the regular garrison's what, 30?
Yeah, for
You
for
back
yeah.
in and it's
Yeah,
attrition.
40%.
They're just beating
Another
beating
two
you up.
rockets.
Yeah.
Another two rockets. Another two
And
rockets.
like, you know, I keep going back to this, but like, you know, you want to make, you know, you don't want tanks to be able to last an entire game or whatever. Well, then make tank fighting more competitive. Like, you don't
Exactly.
have to do degradation. You don't have to do degradation of the armor to make sure the tanks don't last an entire game. Just make the tank combat better. Just make the other tanks be able to take, you know, make mediums versus heavy, all the things that we spoke about. Don't mess with the you know, armor values or you know, do degradation. Just make tanking better. You won't have to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just like one of those things too, where I feel like AT right now, minus the AT gun, which is definitely overpowered. I don't even want to get started. I don't want to send us down that rabbit hole. AT right now is in a very, very good spot. I would even lean towards the point of being overpowered, but I'm not gonna fucking. I know most of us will, but for, you know, the sake of it, one guy with rockets right now could take out any tank but a heavy by himself in one life. Doesn't have to resupply anything, and that's just a fact. So, you know, I think rockets right now, they do not need any sort of help. You know, all it takes is either two ATs working together or AT and a support or rifleman working together, and they could take out any tank they want within seconds. So I don't think rockets need any help. That, you know, tank degradation, that doesn't help the heavy meta. That doesn't help any tank in any regard. It just helps ATs.
And if people don't understand where to hit or how to hit, they need to look that information up. It's readily available, like,
Yeah.
and not just guess. Like,
Yeah,
there's certain Bibles of tanks and things out there that you could find that will give you all that info.
no, for real.
So, I feel like there's so much misinformation from people that just don't know shit about, like, where we get hit in the tracks like
Yeah.
80% of the time, or if that's intentional or not.
I'd be curious to know
But
how many
that-
people have shot us in the tracks over and over again, then immediately go to the supporters mess hall and
Yeah.
then fucking make a post of tanks are overpowered. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
all you do is put that Panzer Shrek in the side twice, or even in the fucking front of a medium twice, and it's dead. Like, you could, a fucking AT could kill a medium Sherman from the front, and I don't think anybody, like the majority of players, don't even know that.
Nope,
No.
they don't.
So the fact that fucking
Nope.
this would make so much more of a mess if there was some sort of, you know, health degradation system brought in that would just fucking wreck the AT
Well,
balance.
it's attrition. It's all aggregate and like attrition. Like, you're just gonna stack up so much damage so fast that you're never gonna recover in the entire tank like game. All
Yeah,
the people that play tanks is gonna suffer because
you'll
of
just
it.
be limping around, limping, and it would just
Until you
be
can't
terrible.
limp.
Yeah, until you can't limp anymore, and then you take a nice drive out of HQ.
A question for you.
Imagine the. Are you okay?
Okay, just in the field during the Great War, tank crews did emergency repairs, which is what you do with the torch. To get a more complete repair, you'd have to go to a repair station or even a resupply station. Could they incorporate something like that? What do you guys think about something like that?
I mean, it's already brutal. Repair stations are in the game. You know, I think this. I mean, obviously they become more of a necessity if that's what had to be used to get a tank all the way full health. But if that's the point, then you gotta allow. That's a whole nother thing that you have to allow tank crews to fucking build rep stations, because then you're just dependent on some random engineer.
Yeah.
You're basically saying take the torch away from the tank crew. Like, you're fully dependent on infantry at that point.
Yep,
No,
it's
no.
a good idea, but I
Yeah.
mean, like you said, you're reliant on the goodwill of some engineer who's going to take the time to build that repair station for you.
Or driving 10 minutes back to HQ and back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think it's a good idea in theory, but I mean, you'd have to allow tank crews to build repair stations to the point, which I would fucking love, but that would make us ridiculously overpowered. I would just sit next to it. Yeah, I would just sit next to it the whole game.
Well, and
But you do bring up a good point. I know it's obviously not talking about the meta, but I would love for there to be some sort of ammo resupply system out in the field instead of driving all the way back. That is fucking brutal when it takes, you know, 5 to 10 minutes to get all the way back there, especially on certain maps. That'd be something really cool. You know, whether it be nodes or they could work that into the munitions nodes or something. I don't know.
Dude, every other
I always
class,
thought it'd be
every other
good.
class in the whole game has that already. All they have to do is redeploy,
Yeah, yeah.
and that takes 10 seconds. Like, but we have to drive 10 minutes back, taking AT shots the whole way.
I know.
Constant danger.
That's
And
brutal.
I always thought
to
it
lock
would
that-
be good to mix. So I always thought it'd be good to mix it in with the munition nodes as well, so that way there's
That's
some risk
something.
and reward for placing those nodes further up ahead.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
You
true.
can resupply off them.
I like that idea.
Mm-hmm.
That is a good one.
and even if you just put the nodes or the resupply stations in your locked territory, 2 rows behind the contested point,
Yeah,
you know, it's not all the way back, but it's still in your secured territory.
And
absolutely.
it's still in the danger zone.
Yeah,
There's
yeah, if
still
you lose
stuff
the
that could
territory,
happen.
yeah.
It's not making it incredibly easy for the tankers.
Yeah, yeah. No, I enjoy that a lot, and I wish there was some sort of system in play there with that. And I doubt we'll ever get something like that. It's just probably so far in the list of things. It's more of a quality of life thing. But those were kind of the three, major meta solutions that, I could think of talking about. I think, unless you guys have any other ideas or anything like that. The only other idea I could think of is fucking take heavy tanks out, baby. Medium versus medium all day. I would.
Ooh.
It would be.
I like my Tiger, my 76.
Yeah, give me
I
the
know.
Tiger.
I know.
I'm biased to the 75 medium.
I know. Well, so that's a good segue, dude, for our finishing little segment here. Let's go, quickly down the line here. Let's fire off some things we would like to see in the future of
Is this our
Hellas here.
Christmas list or whatever?
Yeah, let's talk about it, because and Adam brings a point. The medium Sherman still drives like ass, and that thing needs some love. It needs some attention. The Panzer IV and the T-34, they don't drive perfectly, but they're really fucking fun to drive, and the Sherman needs some of that love.
Yeah. Panzer IV,
It needs
great.
it needs a little TLC.
Mm-hmm.
T-34, okay.
Yeah,
Medium Sherman, it's like a shopping cart. Like, you don't know. It sucks.
dude, it's just got forgotten within time in the updates.
I mean, I can turn a shopping cart
Take
fast.
Yeah.
But again, it's like taking it back to that one earlier. It's like when you do something in it, it feels like an achievement. That's probably the one thing.
That's
I
like
like
beyond
You
though.
fought
That's like,
against it.
You're playing on hard mode.
Yeah.
All right. Next thing I would love to see in here is echoing Noodle. When I say this, tank destroyers. So this could probably be offered as a solution for all this fucking heavy tank meta if they introduce some sort of tank destroyers. But that's like, dude, this is like it's a big investment that would take a lot of balancing and whatnot. So I don't think it's one that's really ideal. But in the long term, down the line, I think that's something maybe a little bit less fuel than a heavy, a little more than a medium. It can actually destroy a heavy from the front, but a medium can shoot it from the front. It's basically what I want heavies to be now.
that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
That's a
I
really good idea. Yeah,
including
Panthers and all that.
Yak Panther and like tank destroyers. I think a few things need to come to make sure that those can be brought into it. One, because they're a single gun, they're turretless vehicles. You have to it's going to take a huge skill between the driver and the gunner to coordinate that.
Yep.
But I think you need the maps, because these tanks aren't meant to go into the combat. They're really meant to, like, as we know, go out far away, snipe, move, snipe, and then that's their thing. I think the maps have to be yielding for that, because if minus Kursk and some other maps, good luck finding 1,000 meters view distance where you can take out a tank. Like, the maps need to be opening up for these type of vehicles, or massive elevation changes and stuff like that to make those vehicles work. I love them. Like, trust me, I'd love a Stug, I'd love a Yak Panzer, but I think the maps need to open up and yield themselves for tanks like that to be able to work, because right now it's really turreted tanks that only really work in the maps.
Yeah, you don't want to roll that thing down Carrington.
No,
not a
they were
U-10
all
recon.
ambush tanks, weren't they, Marco?
they were ambush tanks. They were meant to in the Yak Tiger. Really they were meant because the Germans didn't have enough, and they were meant to take out 5 or 6 or 7 tanks before that even got spotted, and that was like their thing, because they didn't have the numbers that the US that the Allied had. So I love them, and I'd love to see them in the game. I mean, at its basic level, a Stug. It's not like Stug was I think one of the most produced tanks of the war for the Germans. So like I would love to see a Stug at that little simple level.
Yeah, I think I agree. Anyone else got anything to have on their Christmas list they want to
Sometimes, like, do you guys ever get the feeling when you're in, let's say, the Lukes, like it just when you go to turn, you're literally drifting? Like, is that a thing? Like, am I just dumb on like tank
I can do
knowledge
like
in the
donuts
past?
and those things.
Yeah,
Well,
you're
I'm talking
talking.
about you try to turn left, and that's shit is just like you're sliding 50 yards out, like before your left even occurs.
Yeah, the
I
Lukes
didn't know
is
if that's
like,
an actual
really?
thing or what.
I don't know. The Lukes is either in between drifting or you're fucking going.
Yeah.
You're traveling through time. You're spinning so fast. Like I don't
Yeah,
understand.
Just curious.
That's
Yeah.
half the fun in that thing. It's
Yeah.
just balling,
Yes, I mean, but like
just
when you're
tearing up
trying
dirt
to-
and just going for it.
Hey, while we're talking
Yeah.
about the Lukes, though, give that thing a fucking little boosty boost in the 20 mil department there. That thing fires Nerf
Yeah.
darts. That's a
Yeah,
Christmas
man.
wish.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
thing needs to
HE.
splash better. But,
Mhm.
like it sucks.
Yeah, you fire off like 80 rounds, you look at your kills, you're like, 3? The fuck?
Yeah, because that's like a 3-meter splash, if that.
I know.
Like, you almost
It's
got to drill
something
the guy
with
straight on.
HE clip damage. It's way old. It's a way old problem. I know.
No, yeah, I'd love for the Lukes to get above. I want to let everyone go because I have a few wish list things because I'm like a massive tank head. But I want to let other people go and then I'll, continue mine.
Anybody else got a
I
wish?
mean, mine's going to be pretty quick because I'm probably the less like. I mean, honestly, like I just mentioned about the Lokes, a little bit like you were saying, the splash damage, the turning on. Again, I feel like I'm on ice no matter what the media I'm on, whether it's mud, grass, whatever. It just all feels like it's oil slicked. Obviously, 75 turning, it needs mega help. Sometimes also too medium versus medium, right? So you're talking Sherman versus Panzer IV going through a particular ditch, like the Panzer IV, and maybe this is because of design and I'm just the way it is. But I feel if I hit a lot more ditches in the Panzer IV, I'm hosed.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
that thing is just squared off.
Yep.
Like
Yeah, the core, you get
curved,
caught on
like, not
everything in that
happening.
tank right now.
Yeah, so I guess to me, consistency there. But again, if that's by design, then cool. That just might be my lack of knowledge.
No, I think that's overall just a good wish list. Is like, I think everybody just wants tanks, not to be like more maneuverable for the sake of power, but for the sake of fun. Like, you
agreed.
just want to be able to get around easier and have fun doing it. Like, don't I don't want to fucking like teleport me behind a heavy and a medium. Like, no, dude, just make it fun to drive.
Yeah, and that's pretty much where I have some honestly like very very minor shit, but that's just the top ones for me that I run in kind of daily when we tank. So that's it for me.
Cool.
I think it'd be quite interesting if you for the engineers for their blowtorch, they're able to sort of like take down destroyed tanks in the field and maybe reclaim a bit of the resources from them again to help with that resource sink
like a
that
scrap.
you're getting in as well.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, just a little something back from it, so
Ooh.
that way you're pulling a bit back. Give them
I
incentive
like
to go out and
that.
recover that.
I mean, if
tank.
they're still going off
That
all
way-
those RTS elements, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean that way you don't need to worry about putting in recovery vehicles or anything like that. You just have the engineers do it.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I mean, it's probably a little more video gamey, but I mean, it's hella loose. It's not realistic in any way, but I fucking love the idea. And in fact, and the idea of gaming, I think that is brilliant.
Yep.
But maybe not in sense of realism, but fun and gaming, I am all for that.
Like disassembling a node almost.
Yeah, except you're doing
yeah,
the
that's the
opposite.
first time I kind of heard that too. So
I never
that's
thought
super
about it,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah. Mine would be like tank variants.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like different types of the models of tanks. I mean, that's this is like creme de la creme of a wish list. Variants, foliage on the tanks.
Yeah.
I mean, different like camouflages per map. So like the tiger for every map doesn't look the same. I mean, like at least whitewash tank on Foy, stuff like that.
It's like
and-
MS Paint, right? Just right click on it and you're good.
Yeah, just like I don't care. I mean, and yeah, so variants, stuff like that. I know the developers have said against adding any SS elements, which I'm totally fine. I don't really care about that stuff. But maybe like one of the Wehrmacht's logo or some type of elements that are like derived from realism. I think stuff like that would be really cool. Ammo repair station, obviously. And yeah, like maybe some battle damage. I don't know. Like if you get, I think this is moving into postscriptum, and I don't want postscriptum to 100% be anything like Hell Let Loose, but some elements of if you get hit, something snaps off, something breaks off, stuff like that. So you're cruising into a battle without your front fender or something like that.
Yeah, I agree, and I'll add on to that. Like even like I don't want to talk too much about postscriptum because it's apples and oranges at this point. They're both fruit, they're different. But I would love for there to be different, animations to when your tank explodes in this game, because right now it's the same. It just kind of turns into that specific corpse and the one flame blows up. I would love to see, even though there is no ammo rack component, love to see ammo cook off. I'd love to see a turret go flying off, things like that, and to switch it up I think would be really immersive and cinematic, not only for the tank crews but for all like the infantry around it and stuff too.
My turn.
Yeah, what you got?
I got it on my list. Here we go.
Oh, God. I can hear the
I'm
paper.
just
Yeah.
I'm
Oh
just
my
kidding.
God.
You're sent.
Fire it off, Jack. Fire it off.
It's like Festivus. I got a lot of problems.
Fire it off.
Real simple, real easy. Number 1, fix the freaking Tiger reload.
Oh yeah, there you go.
That's bad.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, fix the tank sights so they directly correlate to in-game ping distances.
That's good as well.
Because trying to eyeball those shots, I think.
That is a good
we're
one.
all at a level, or not a level, but we're all have enough time in where we know where to aim, and there's certain stuff out there you can find that will tell you. But just like the regular level 20 dude who's like, oh, I'm gonna shoot some shit in a tank, like it's really confusing, and it is still difficult, even at this stage.
Absolutely.
Marco, you said camo or like skins, tank skins.
Yeah, I'd like some camo elements and some foliage.
And everybody's favorite, fix the freaking AT gun. That thing needs serious tweaking.
Yep.
I think everybody knows it at this point. Even like the people that are proponents of it are like, whoa, yeah, that's a little OP.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's all I got. Oh, Tiger 2. I'd like a Tiger 2, please.
Put it in the game. You heard it here. All right. Anybody got anything else they want to throw in the video? Cool. Well, this has been our the Beer Squad Tank Roundtable. I don't know. Maybe we'll do this again sometime about a different topic, but fucking
it's a good time.
Yeah, let us know what you guys think down in the comments. If you're listening to this as someone who plays AT, go easy on us. We only want what's fair and balanced for the game. But yeah, everyone want to say bye?
Later.
Bye.
All right,
Take care.
Bye.
Cool. Thank you for watching. Thank you for everything you do. We'll see you on the front line.